Hello, I'm Jimmy Snow, and I really just hope that's okay. I've got a question for you. I've probably done that in a bunch of shows, I'm realizing. It's a reference to a show called The Limey Show, if anybody's interested in why I do that. I've got a question for you. What weighs more? What is it, a kilogram of steel or a kilogram of feathers? That's, if you wanted to just go look that up. Anyway, I've got a question for you. Have you ever done something that is so humiliating that you feel like your only choice is to act as though it was intentional and that you actually like love that it happened? Do you know what I'm talking about? Something like you forget that you're not actually alone, and maybe you're watching TV with somebody, and let's say you're into this somebody, and you're not used to watching TV with somebody else in your house. So then when a fart cues up, you just do exactly what your body always does in that situation without even thinking about it. But then you realize that you just farted in front of a new person, and a person that frankly you were kind of hoping would fall in love with you, for the sake of the story. And also for the sake of the story, let's just go ahead and say that this person's name was Claire, to pull like a random name from nowhere. It's just a no one name. And let's also just say, for the point of the story, that you were excited to have Claire in your space because hanging out the few times you had hung out already, obviously away from your house, you'd been so intellectually stimulated, but also it had ignited passion in you. And look, if we're being honest, also Claire's a fox, and you'd like to climb them like a tree. And I'm just trying to think of some more fake random facts from this totally made up story and made up person about, let's say that you were also excited. This is good. You were also very excited because it turned out they spoke fluent Korean, and you've always had a sort of minor obsession with Korean culture, and you've always wanted to learn that language. And if things worked out, you now have a person to practice with that you could feel like you could trust more. Let's just move that out of frame. That's perfect. But now, on a hypothetical mild spring afternoon, let's say it was a Sunday in the spring, before you were ready to show them this side of you, and by this side of you, I mean this inside of you, you've done it. You've let one rip in front of Claire, and you immediately realize you did what you did. So you decide that you're going to own it. And you say something like, I just figured I'd get something. I just figured I'd get that out of the way. This is a totally random, complete, but yeah, you play it off. I just was going to get that out of the way. This is a made up story. But the two of you hadn't even kissed yet. So that kind of falls flat. Like, I don't know if it's the time to get that out of the way yet. We shouldn't be ashamed of it. And yet here we are. This is the society we live in. And granted, Claire did laugh, and that was polite of them to do. But you could also tell that they were politely sort of holding back, being honest about how how it smelled. And when I say how it smelled, to be clear, I mean, it smelled like something died in your colon. And now the only thing you wish you could do is either go back in time or maybe just, I guess, die would be fine. Yeah. So anyway, has that ever happened to you? This totally made up and random story example, something like that. Has that ever happened to you? Because this was going somewhere, and here is where it was going. Last week, Donald Trump farted in front of Claire. But in this case, Claire is all of America. The fart is a Fulton County Jail mugshot. And Donald Trump is inmate number P011358809. I suggest we all memorize that. Oh man, how baller would it be if Joe Biden in a debate refers to him as that instead of his name? Do it, Joe. Do it up, Joe. Anyway, this fart in question that I'm referring to is now what I would argue is the most famous mugshot of all time, and that is this one right here. Truly, this will be the most famous mugshot in history. There are other famous mugshots. Usually the other really famous ones are either celebrities or civil rights leaders, and boy, he just blew them all out of the water. Arguably he is a celebrity. Arguably, he is not a civil rights leader. But the funny thing is that Donald Trump really wants you to believe he is happy about this. This. It's not a surprise. We knew he was going to play it off like that. We knew something like this was going to happen. In fact, even though, so information is leaked from his inner circle that he is having a terrible time. Like, truly. It turns out that Donald Trump hates, Donald Hate would be a good name for him. Better than him calling Tib Apple. Donald hates consequences, is what I was trying to say. He hates being indicted. We know this from his inner circle, even though he's trying to play it up. And by the way, like, I'm serious, as far as playing it up, his true believers probably don't know that it's an act, but I assume they believed it completely a few weeks ago when he literally said, anytime they file an indictment, we go way up in the polls. We need one more indictment, and this election is closed out. That nobody even has a chance. It'll close it out, close out the election completely. Most of that was an exact quote, but I'm sure it wasn't perfect. Anyway, so that was obviously transparent to those of us whose brains work, but not the hardcore Trumpists. But he's so acting like the kid who doesn't bring a jacket to school. Okay, I don't know if anybody else has lived in well, I don't know who lives where, but do you remember, I know that I saw this multiple times, and I think I did this, but do you remember like a cold front would come through and there'd be one kid who didn't bring a jacket, and instead of admit that he forgot or he wasn't thinking about it or whatever else, I only saw boys do this, so I'm just going to say he'd like try to convince everyone he's actually like, no, I'm actually really warm. My blood actually works different. Like when you're hot, I'm cold, and when you're cold, I'm hot. Seriously, I'm pretty sure I actually said that in elementary school. I think I was the boy in some of those occasions, and definitely observed other people doing it. Go off in the comments if you ever heard that exact thing. I have a feeling it's one of those obscure stories that you put out there, and then you're like, dude, yeah, like that this happened to everybody. I think it is one of those. Anyway, so maybe I can't throw stones, but in fairness, Donald Trump isn't in elementary school. In fact, Donald Trump is closer to 100 years old than I am, close to, obviously than I'm, but is closer to, there was more to that statement. Donald Trump is closer to 100 years old than I am close to being elementary school age. That's our age difference here. He's closer to actually being 100 than I am to elementary school. And yet, here he is, really trying to hold back tears and act like, guys, no, the whole thing's a joke. It's just a goof. It's just a big old... So, once again, I'm doing this thing where I'm making an episode that I can't pretend has any real significant purpose other than to call a bluff, have some fun, and create some catharsis. Because Trump and co, and in this case, the co is actually short for co-conspirators, are actually out selling merch and fundraising off of this picture. You even have politicians and, I guess, Cheeto Man simps making fake mugshots of themselves as a show of solidarity, which is not the brag they think it is, because many of them deserve, it would be fine if those were real mugshots. Trump, before this mugshot was taken, also had a fake mugshot with a portrait that he was in a lot more control of, that, you know, a more flattering portrait that was made to look like it was a mugshot with like the overlays and stuff. But this is the real deal. This is the authentic one. And so, look, if they really want us to believe that he loves this and they want everyone to see it and think about it all the time, I think we should just call his bluff. And when I say they are really bragging about this thing. They've claimed to raise millions of dollars. I think it was over $10 million at the last count that they reported off of this mugshot alone. And when we consider their campaign finance history, you can be assured whatever number they're reporting is a lie, but they say it's over $10 million. And they are talking about it a lot. Trump even returned to Twitter. Trump even returned to X. It's such a stupid fucking name. And it's still at twitter.com. Like, it's still, It's still at the regular place. And they still haven't come up with a good word to replace like tweet, retweet. I so badly want to just start roasting Elon again, but I did that last month, so I'm not going to. Anyway, Trump returned to Twitter pi r squared plus the quadratic equation, because I assume that's what the next name is going to be. For the first time since he was banned and then subsequently reinstated by Elon after Elon had taken back over. And, remember, he reinstated a bunch of people, Kanye, Nazis, brought a bunch of people back, for one big Nazi family. Anyway, just to post, he just posted this about this, the arrest and the mugshot over on Twitter, which is a big deal that he waited that long to admit that his social network is just not good enough and that it actually low-key sucks. Seriously, Truth Social, where's my phone? It is hot garbage. It is the worst. I forget I have it a lot, not because if I want to just go and rage and laugh and whatever, yeah, you can go and do that, but it's such an unpleasant app to use and it's so stupid. I just look, he's literally complaining right now about Ron DeSantis and the Ron DeSantis failures because he's man, the guy is, it's just garbage. The whole thing is garbage. Anyway, AmericanThinker.com article, Trump can prove it. Yeah, he was going to give, this was another thing that we missed. He was going to give a press conference a couple of weeks ago where he was going to present, I have an irrefutable report. It's a 100-page report. It is irrefutable from page 1 to 100. This Monday, which Monday was now not this last Monday, but I think the Monday prior, we'll be presenting the report, irrefutable, and this whole thing, it's going to blow this whole thing up. He ends up not releasing the report. He ends up not having the press conference and says, my lawyers have told me it would be better for us to include this in our legal filings. Who wants it? Like, what's the over-under? Who wants to take bets on whether or not that, okay. Who wants to take bets on if that ends up in there? I'm getting off topic again. Let's get back. In the spirit of Christmas, I know it's September, but technically Jesus was way more likely to have been born around now. So I just say we count it. In the spirit of Christmas, let's give old Donnie Tangerine his wish. Let's share this portrait all over and let's talk about it. Let's show it a lot. Let's talk about it a lot because it has been reported that he put a lot of thought into this and that apparently this is how he wanted to look. He practiced like this picture, how he wanted to look. Now, look, okay, I've gone for driver's license photos, never a mugshot, but I imagine it's very similar. And I know you don't have control over the lighting. I have to imagine when he was making photo decisions, he probably didn't think that the lighting would be such that his pumpkin spice spray tan would be so contrasted by his eyebrows. Like, that is comical. That's a caricature of a spray tan on the man who, could you ever just wake up and go, wow, Donald Trump was actually president? What world do we live in? Where are we? Did I have a stroke? I can't get over, sorry, I was just staring at it. I can't get over. He looks like there are two venomous furry caterpillars above his eyes. That, like, I don't know, I guess they got baked on there when he was looking straight into the solar eclipse. Another thing that I just think about from time to time. Too often. It lives rent-free in my mind. Just him going, they say, don't look directly at the eclipse. Don't look at it with your eyes. You've got to put on the glasses. Don't look at the eclipse. Okay, don't look at it. It's like he's fucking 5. Anyway, forget all of that. Of all the faces that Donald Trump could make, why this one? He actually, like, okay, I don't say many nice things about Donald Trump. So here's a shot at one. Donald Trump has a pretty good stank face. Like, when he is unpleased or dismissive, have you all seen that face he does at debates, especially when an opponent is calling him out directly? It kind of looks like I imagine that's the sound it would make if he released any air when he was doing it. It's actually like an effective, like it's a very expressive, it says 1,000 words. He's pretty good at using his face in a debate to respond without responding. That hurts my ear to do for some reason, my right ear. I just had jaw surgery, so probably is related to that, but it does hurt. Anyway, uh, uh, Trump, you should have done that. You would have looked like, yeah, you would have looked like you were actually in control. Because right now in this picture, where you were trying to look tough and like a fighter, you don't. Buddy, you look like you're pooping. I hope I can call you buddy. You look like you look like you're taking a dump. And look, I don't look into these eyes and think that in your brain you're thinking, I'm totally in control and I'm gonna beat this thing. I look into those eyes and I hear, oh my God. Sorry. I look into those eyes. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm just gonna read it. I look into those eyes and I hear, oh my God, I just farted in front of Claire. So you at home, if you're watching and what I'm saying is resonating with you at all, and you agree, like, what the fuck is this? What is this face? If you agree with that, do me a favor. Share that mugshot somewhere today. Share it today. And share it with a caption. And if I could suggest a caption, if I could suggest what the caption should be, I would make the caption, OMG, I just farted in front of Claire. Off the top of my head, just pulling something out, making it up. OMG, I just farted in front of Claire. And let's just say if this photo changes right now, let me clear it out so that there's space for it. This photo changes right now into a picture of it on like a t-shirt. That means that I realized, because I just realized, that it should be merch. So there might be some merch options. If there is not a pic here, it means that I either do not have time or the problem is the merch provider I use might say like, oh, I don't know about this and the licensing, but they've already pulled it into the public domain and unchallenged it. So I believe the copyright owner, which would be the Fulton County Sheriff's Department, probably is fully aware that this is sort of public property as much as anything could be. Plus it's like literally, shouldn't it literally be public property? A mugshot from a county jail? Anyway, if they don't have a problem with it and I had the time to do it, this is what it maybe looks like. And maybe there are options of a mug or something, but it's definitely going to say the fart thing. And by the way, if you want to leave a comment, I would really like it if you would leave a comment that starts with Trump looks like, let me put it back up now, getting rid of the referring to this, Trump looks like, and then say what you think he looks like he's doing or thinking in this picture. I'm actually going to be streaming on Twitch again here soon. Mostly, I just really want to play Starfield, and I don't have time to play games. And Starfield, I've decided it's probably going to be my personality now. And I'm going to pull them up. I'll pull up those comments and read them, and the winner will be ever who gives me the deepest chuckle. Will there be a prize? No, but acknowledgement, I guess. And if you want to find me on Twitter, I am Jimmy Alexander Snow, all one word. If there's a link below. Yeah, gonna be playing Starfield, gonna be doing some giveaways. Come hang out if you want, or don't if you don't want to. Also, if you want to support this channel, you can head to Patreon. I'm just gonna leave it up for the rest. You can head to Patreon. I'm actually about to record right after I'm done with this, but we'll actually probably release it before because I got to do the short stuff. It'll be out. I'm going to review all of the mugshots of everyone from the Rico case. There are some gems in there, is all I have to say. It is wow. And yeah, that'll be out by the time you see this. So that'll be releasing just for patrons. Also hit subscribe if you want, or don't. I mean, I wish you would, but I'm not mad if you don't. I'm just disappointed. And last thing, finally, clearly, everyone wants to know, is the Claire story secretly a true story? I understand that that's going to be on people's mind. So let me just say, to be very clear and transparent that we are out of time. I'm Jimmy Snow. Stay skeptical, my friends. That was the old sign off. I decided I'm going to bring it back. Stay skeptical, my friends. Double pointers.